where is this one dude that got blown up? He's in some hospital somewhere, and he's dying. And we had to evacuate him out of the country, get him into Poland, and then get permission from the Secretary of Defense to fly him into the military combatant recovery. Like, we brought him to Landstuhl, to Ramstein, and then he moved as if he was a combatant into the military hospital system. And had that not happened, he'd be dead.
Let's get into what you were doing in Ukraine.
So we recognized in Afghanistan that there is never going to be a single solution to a problem when you have a gigantic gorilla that is the American government and the bureaucratic approach to problem solving. They're always going to be constrained by rules, authorities, and authorizations, funding, permission. Like, the list of their constraints are seemingly endless, right? But if you're small, if you're like this small expeditionary ability, small digital footprint, small financial footprint, small risk, we provide an incredible asset to the large behemoth, right? Where, cool, you have a problem. We too care about that problem, but we have a bunch of different opportunities or different approaches to solve this problem. You got all these constraints. We don't have any of these constraints. Whether I'm going to go as a for-profit contracting company, and not once ever has anyone ever profited in any way, shape, or form off of anything that we've ever done in the humanitarian, evacuation, neo sense. Everything that we've ever done always stays within the organization to advance abilities and capabilities, so that then when the next crisis happens, and fuck, there have been so many in the past 3 years, where I can pick up the phone and be like, hey, sir, just want to give you an update. Here's some current capabilities that we have in the region. I have a team that's on the ground, or they're at the border, or they've positioned themselves. They have this ground evacuation route. We've set up these rat lines. We have these evacuation and evasion lanes set. We have these boats. We have these planes, right? Like, all I do is come with assets. Tell me how you want me to skin this for you. Like, because I can do it as an NGO. I can come in as humanitarian aid and evacuate personnel recovery. But ultimately, like, with our mission, with our purpose, everything else is for the sole reason of being able to accomplish that. Mission first, always. No paid salaries. I've never taken a cent. Neither has anyone else that is part of that organization. All 100% program funded.
Damn.
We were talking last night how much you hate NGOs, and you're not wrong when they get so big and they lose that. But when you look at a problem and you go like, how do I get Americans out of Sudan? How do I get Americans out of Israel after the worst terrorist attack in their history and per capita in in any history? 10 times worse than Pearl Harbor, 8 times worse than 9/11 per capita, But the difference was that everybody there was raped and murdered and tortured. Big, significant difference. All the Americans, 40,000 of them that are in Israel, now have no flights to get out. They're also, some of them are old, and they went to see where Jesus was baptized, but they can't make it back to the airport, or they're in Jerusalem. They have to get back to Tel Aviv. Like Delta, United, American, all those flights are canceled, even though you've tried to book 3, 4, 5, 6 different times, and now your card has been charged every time. Now you have no money to book another flight because your credit card's frozen, and there's no airline that'll take you. So how do you get out? So then Department of State says, hey, we're setting up these corridors and these timelines for us to fly these people out. We're going to bring them back to, back to Europe into a safe area to get them out. But we can't go actually out and pick them up. Boom, new gap identified. Let's build rosters. Let's start building manifests. Let's start building movement sheets and start escorting these people in. Insert the next conflict.
Man, you guys are effective. And yes, I do hate a lot of nonprofits.
Me too.
I think a lot of nonprofits start off with a very good mission statement and they want to do good, and then they explode. And then greed kicks in, and the next thing you know, nobody gives a shit about what they were doing. And originally, it's all about fucking money and taking out the competing nonprofit out rather than. And in the way the conversation went is when we started talking about keeping it small, keeping it grassroots, having specific investors that don't need name recognition and aren't trying to build a massive business. They want to affect the world
Yeah, they
in
want
a
to do
positive
good.
manner. And so that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, the other side of that coin that you're totally right about the NGOs, like how many times have you in your professional career, a missionary group, a nonprofit, Doctors Without Borders that gets hemmed up and they're stuck, now they're captives and they're being used as hostages or leverage for not just money, but also like positioning within the government. Like it happens time and time and time and time again. So like they are and have been historically big problems. We are organized in a way that we are small, we are maneuverable, and most of all, that the talent. If you look at the group that was in Israel, JP, Ryan, Nate, these people are coming from tier one, the most elite special operations backgrounds in the world, and then moved on to work for other groups that gave them even more skills. And like, these are the guys that are effectively doing the evacuations and the rescuing. Like there's nobody more capable or competent on the planet. And they want to be there. Their heart is there to do the right thing. They've always wanted to be able to help in a meaningful way, but they've always had their hands tied. And sometimes by the government, sometimes by bureau chiefs, sometimes by like case officers, sometimes the list goes on of all of the ways that they've been constrained. Now they just get to do good.
Yeah.
And they have not all the resources because we're small, but we have enough resources to do the job at the highest level. Freaking rad.
Yeah, it is, man.
Dave Benjamin Hall, he was the Fox News correspondent that got blown up in Ukraine.
Oh, okay. So, I'm not familiar with him.
Kind of peak evasion. Fox News correspondent is doing a segment and his car gets attacked. His cameraman dies. He gets horrifically wounded. Rad right now. Ben Hall is in Israel covering the conflict there. Full circle. Save Our Allies was mobilized by Fox to go and rescue him out of Ukraine. So we had to first find him in the middle of this invasion and the entire conflict. Like, where is this one dude that got blown up? He's in some hospital somewhere, and he's dying. And we had to evacuate him out of the country, get him into Poland, and then get permission from the Secretary of Defense to fly him into the military combatant recovery. Like, we brought him to Landstuhl, to Ramstein, and then he moved as if he was a combatant into the military hospital system. And had that not happened, he'd be dead.
Damn.
So like when people are throwing stones, like the Secretary of Defense put his name on the bottom line that we can move this dude out of here. So like, if you think that I'm out there doing like some John Wayne shit, like it could not be furthest from the truth. Like, I'm doing in whatever way we can contribute the best that we can with the assets and support that we have, we'll do that. But by no means is anyone out there being like, hey, look where my name is. Like, look what I did.
Well, thank you for setting the record straight.
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click here to subscribe to the Shawn Ryan Show YouTube channel for the hottest and most compelling interviews that you will not see anywhere else. I've also made a playlist of all the previous SRS episodes so they're easy to find. You can find that right here.